Overseer Thelm stood in the vast archive chamber, his 4 eyes scanning through thousands of floating data screens. The Varelian Empire needed new systems to expand into, and his job was to find planets that would not fight back. Low-threat worlds were perfect. Easy to take, easy to control. His clawed finger stopped on one particular file. Earth. Solar System. Threat level 2. Low. The classification was 300 years old. Perfect. Thelm muttered to himself. The data showed a primitive species called humans. They still used chemical rockets to move through space. Their planet was divided into over 100 separate nations that could barely agree on anything. They had nuclear weapons. Yes, but that was ancient technology. Every civilized species had moved past that centuries ago. Thelm pulled up more information. Earth had made contact with the Galactic Council in 2089. At that time, they were still fighting wars among themselves. They had barely reached their own moon. The assessment team had labeled them primitive but developing and assigned them the low threat rating. Since then, the file showed only minor updates. Earth had joined some council trade agreements. They had a few representatives at the council stations. Nothing important. This world will be easy, Thelm said. He began preparing his report for the High Command. Across the galaxy, on the Galactic Council's main station, Captain Jiho sat in the Human Liaison office. It was a small room, tucked away in a forgotten corner of the massive station. Most species did not pay attention to the human representatives. They were from a low-threat world, after all, not worth anyone's time. Jiho was reviewing supply requests when he heard voices in the hallway. He recognized one of them. Overseer Thelm. The Varelian was talking loudly with one of his officers. The High Command approved it, Thelm was saying. We move in 3 months. 200 warships. The humans will not even know what hit them. Jiho felt his blood run cold. He moved closer to the door, listening carefully. Are you certain they will not resist? The other officer asked. Thelm laughed. It was an ugly, rasping sound. Look at their classification. Low threat. Level 2. They still use primitive spacecraft. They have no unified military. Most of their population does not even know other species exist. This will be the easiest conquest of the century. Jiho immediately opened a secure channel to Earth. He contacted Ambassador Hana, the chief diplomat for humanity. Ambassador, we have a serious problem, Jiho said when her face appeared on the screen. The Varelians are planning to invade Earth. 200 ships. 3 months. Hana's expression did not change. She was quiet for a moment, then smiled slightly. Thank you, Captain. I will inform Earth Defense. Continue your normal duties. Do not let them know you heard anything. Jiho frowned. Ambassador, did you hear me? 200 warships. They think we are an easy target. I heard you perfectly, Captain, Hana said calmly. Trust me. Everything will be fine. The connection ended. Jiho sat back in his chair, confused. Hana had not seemed worried at all. In fact, she had seemed almost amused. Back on Earth, in a hidden military facility deep beneath the surface, General Yuna received Hana's message. She walked into a large command center where dozens of officers were working at advanced computer stations. The technology in this room would have shocked any member of the Galactic Council. It was far beyond what anyone thought humans possessed. We have incoming, Yuna announced. Varelian fleet. 200 ships. ETA. 3 months. A younger officer looked up nervously. Should we update our threat classification, General? Let the Council know our real capabilities? Ground. Yuna shook her head. No. The low threat rating has served us well for 250 years. She smiled. Besides, the Varelians need to learn this lesson. Others have tried before. They all learned eventually. She activated a galaxy-wide communication system that only a few dozen humans knew existed. All defense stations. This is General Yuna. Protocol Watchdog is now active. Power up all systems. We have 3 months to prepare our welcome party. Across the solar system, things began to wake up. Near Jupiter, massive structures that had looked like space debris suddenly came online. In the asteroid belt, hundreds of rocks that had floated there for decades started moving into new positions. On Mars, underground facilities opened their blast doors. In high orbit around Earth, satellites that the Council thought were simple communication devices began to transform. Dr. Minho was working at the Mars station when his sensors detected unusual activity near Jupiter. He pulled up the readings and saw energy signatures that should not exist. But he knew exactly what they were. The defense grid was activating. "So someone is stupid enough to try us again," Minho said to his assistant. "I wonder who it is this time." "Vorelians," his assistant replied, checking the secured military channels. 200 ships, Minho whistled. 200? That is more than the Krelans sent. This will be interesting. On the Vorelian homeworld, Theln presented his plan to the High Command. He showed them Earth's outdated threat assessment. He showed them images of human spacecraft that looked primitive compared to Vorelian technology. He showed them Earth's divided political structure. "This world is ripe for conquest," Theln declared. "They have resources we need. Their population can be put to work, and they lack the technology to stop us." The High Commander, an ancient Vorelian named Cross, studied the data. "You are certain of this assessment?" "Completely certain, High Commander," Theln said confidently. "The classification is clear. Low threat. Level 2. I have reviewed all available data. Humans are primitive. They barely understand quantum physics. They have no unified defense force. They still use chemical propulsion for most of their spacecraft." Cross nodded slowly. "Very well. You will lead the fleet personally. Overseer Theln. Bring me this world. The Empire grows." Theln bowed deeply. This conquest would make him famous. This would earn him a seat on the High Command. All because he found a weak, primitive world that no one else had bothered to take. The Vorelian fleet began to assemble. 200 of the Empire's finest warships, each carrying enough firepower to level a city. Thousands of soldiers prepared for occupation duty. They expected easy work. The humans would surrender quickly once they saw the fleet. Captain Jiho watched from his office as the Vorelian ships departed. He had tried 3 more times to warn the Council that attacking Earth was a bad idea. Each time, he was ignored. Humans were low threat. What did they know about military matters? He sent one final message to General Yuna. "They are on their way. 200 ships. They have no idea what is waiting for them." Yuna's reply came back immediately. "Good. We have been too quiet lately. The galaxy was starting to forget why we earned our spot at the table. Let the Vorelians remind everyone." 1. Jiho smiled despite his concerns. He had seen Earth's real military only once, during a classified briefing. The memory still gave him chills. The Vorelians thought they were hunting sheep. They had no idea they were walking into a den of wolves. 3 months, he thought. In 3 months, the galaxy would learn once again why Earth's low-threat classification was the biggest lie ever told. Commander Theln stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Destroyer of Worlds. Around him, 200 Vorelian warships moved through deep space in perfect formation. They had been traveling for 2.5 months. Only 2 more weeks until they reached Earth. "Status report," Theln commanded. His tactical officer, Drex, checked the displays. "All ships operating at full capacity, Commander. Weapons charged, shields ready. We are prepared for anything." Theln nodded with satisfaction. Not that they would need all this firepower. The humans would see the fleet and surrender immediately. This was just procedure. "Any sign of human defenses?" Theln asked. Drex shook his head. Nothing, Commander. We detected a few primitive satellites in orbit around their outer planets. Some basic space stations near Mars and Earth. Nothing that could threaten even one of our ships, let alone 200. Good, Theln said. What about their military vessels? We have detected 3 human ships in the outer system, Drex reported. They appear to be cargo vessels. Slow-moving. Old fusion drives. They are running away from our approach. Theln smiled. Of course they are running. They know they cannot fight us. He turned to his communications officer. Have we received any messages from Earth? Nothing official, Commander. Just standard civilian broadcasts. Music. Entertainment programs. News reports. They do not even seem to know we are coming. Perfect, Theln said. The element of surprise will make this even easier. On Mars Station, Dr. Minho watched the Varelian fleet approach. They were still 2 weeks away, but his sensors could track them clearly. The Varelians had no idea how advanced human detection systems really were. They are moving in standard formation, Minho said to his team. Tight grouping. Shields overlapping. They are not expecting any resistance. Have they detected the defense platforms? One of his assistants asked. Minho checked his displays. No. The stealth fields are holding perfectly. They think they are looking at asteroids and space debris. He shook his head. They have not even scanned properly. If they had used quantum sensors, they would have seen the truth. But they are too confident. General Yuna wants you to tag each ship, his assistant reminded him. For targeting. Already done, Minho replied. Every ship in their fleet is marked. When the time comes, our weapons will know exactly where to aim. He zoomed in on the lead ship. Reader Arzis, Allward Crom. That must be their commander's flagship. Big target. Lots of weapons. Across the solar system, Earth's real defenses waited in silence. What the Varelians thought were asteroids in the belt were actually massive weapons platforms. Each one carried enough firepower to destroy multiple ships. There were over 500 of them, all hidden in plain sight. Near Jupiter, ancient-looking space stations that had been there for a century suddenly had power flowing through them. These were not research stations. They were fortress worlds, mobile and heavily armed. Their weapons had been dark for years, but now they hummed with deadly energy. General Yuna sat in the command center on Earth, watching the Varelian approach. Her officers worked quietly around her, monitoring every detail. The fleet will reach the asteroid belt in 14 days, one officer reported. Should we activate the defense platforms now? No, Yuna said calmly. Let them get closer. Let them think they are safe. We activate when they cross the belt. Not before. Another officer spoke up. General, we are receiving a transmission from the Varelian fleet. They are demanding our surrender. Reen intimated. We green-mated Reesbetter. Yuna raised an eyebrow. Already? They are still 2 weeks away. 2020. End quote. Yes, General. Commander Theln is very confident. Put it through. Yuna ordered. The screen showed a tall, four-eyed alien in dark armor. Theln looked pleased with himself. Humans of Earth, Theln announced. I am Commander Theln of the Varelian Empire. Your world has been selected for annexation. You have 2 options: surrender peacefully and become part of the Empire, or resist and be destroyed. You have until we reach your planet to decide. Choose wisely. The transmission ended. Yuna's officers looked at her, waiting for orders. Send a response, Yuna said. Keep it simple. The communications officer typed quickly. What should it say, General? Yuna thought for a moment. Just 3 words. Turn back now. That is it? The officer asked. That is it, Yuna confirmed. Send it. On the Destroyer of Worlds, Theln received Earth's response. He read the 3 words and laughed loudly. His bridge crew joined in. Turn back now. Theln repeated, still laughing. They think they can threaten us. 3 words. No explanation. No negotiation. He shook his head. These humans are either incredibly brave or incredibly stupid. Perhaps both, Commander, Drex suggested. It does not matter, Theln said. Continue our approach. Full speed. I want to reach Earth as soon as possible. The fleet accelerated. They were eager now. The humans had actually tried to warn them off. That made the conquest more satisfying. Captain Jiho watched from the council station as events unfolded. He had access to both the Varelian military channels and Earth's secure communications. He knew exactly what was about to happen, and he felt almost sorry for the Varelians. Almost, but not quite. They had been warned. He contacted Ambassador Hana again. The Varelians received our warning. They laughed at it. Of course they did, Hana replied. She was packing her belongings, preparing to return to Earth. Captain, I suggest you request leave and get far away from this station. When the Varelians realize what happened, there may be consequences. I am staying, Jiho said firmly. Someone needs to be here to explain to the council what they are about to see. Hana nodded. Suit yourself, but stay safe. Things are going to get very interesting very soon. Lieutenant Taeyang sat in the cockpit of his fighter, docked inside one of the asteroids in the belt. His squadron had been on standby for weeks. Finally, they were about to see action. How much longer? One of his pilots asked over the comm. 12 days, Taeyang replied. 12 days until the Varelians learn their lesson. Do you think any of them will survive? Another pilot asked. Maybe, Taeyang said. If they are smart enough to retreat quickly. But based on their approach, I doubt they are that smart. His fighter was a masterpiece of human engineering. It could move faster than anything the Varelians had. It could turn in ways that would tear apart conventional spacecraft. Its weapons could punch through shields that were supposed to be impenetrable. And there were 3,000 fighters just like it, hidden throughout the system. Engineer Sora ran final checks on the weapons systems aboard the EDS, Indomitable, Earth's flagship. The ship hung in stealth orbit around Earth, completely invisible to Varelian sensors. Sora had spent 5 years designing the Indomitable's main weapon. A singularity cannon that could create a small black hole for exactly 3 seconds. Long enough to tear apart a ship, short enough to collapse safely. All systems green, Sora reported to the ship's captain. We are ready. The captain nodded. Good work, engineer. How many shots can we fire? 12 before we need to recharge, Sora said. But 12 shots should be more than enough. This weapon has never failed in testing. Let us hope it performs as well in combat, the captain said. It will, Sora said confidently. The Varelians have no idea what real technology looks like. The Varelian fleet crossed into the outer solar system. They passed Neptune without incident. Then, Uranus. Nothing. No resistance. No defenses. Just empty space. And a few fleeing cargo ships. See? Theln told his officers. I told you this would be easy. The humans have nothing. Absolutely nothing. Drex was less certain. Commander, I am detecting strange energy readings near Jupiter. Very faint. They could be natural. But what? Theln demanded. I am not sure, Drex admitted. The readings are unusual. I have never seen anything quite like them. Unusual how? Theln asked. Drex shook his head. I cannot explain it. The energy signature is there. Then it disappears. It is almost like something is hiding. Theln waved his hand dismissively. You are seeing shadows. There is nothing here. The humans barely have quantum technology. They cannot hide anything from our sensors. Yes, Commander, Drex said. But he kept watching the readings, a growing unease in his chest. The fleet reached Jupiter. Still, nothing happened. They passed the gas giant and continued toward the asteroid belt. Earth was only days away now. Theln sent another message to Earth. Humans, This is your final warning. Surrender now, or face destruction. We have given you every chance. Our patience is at an end. General Yuna read the message and smiled. Send one more reply, she told her communications officer. What should it say, General? Yuna's smile grew wider. Then she turned to her weapons officer. Activate all defense platforms. Light them up. Let the Varelians see what they walked into. Then, fire at will. The asteroid belt had looked empty moments before. Now it blazed with light and energy. All around the Varelian fleet, rocks that had floated silently for years suddenly came alive. Weapons powered up, shields activated, targeting systems locked on. Commander Theln stared at his displays in shock. What is happening? Drex worked frantically at his station. Commander, those asteroids are not asteroids. They are weapons platforms. Hundreds of them. Energy readings are off the scale. They are charging weapons. Impossible, Theln shouted. The humans do not have this technology. Our intelligence said. Our intelligence was wrong, Drex yelled. Shields up. All ships. Evasive maneuvers. The first human weapons fired. Beams of pure energy, brighter than stars, cut through space. They struck the Varelian shields and punched straight through them like they were paper. 3 warships exploded in the first 5 seconds. Theln gripped his command chair. Return fire. All weapons. Destroy those platforms. The Varelian fleet opened fire with everything they had. Missiles, plasma cannons, ion beams. The weapons had destroyed planets before. They were the pride of the Empire. They did nothing. The energy beams hit human shields and simply stopped. The shields glowed blue for a moment, absorbed the energy, then went dark again. Not a single platform took damage. Impossible, Theln screamed. Nothing can stop our weapons. Nothing. The humans can, Drex said quietly. Commander, we need to retreat. Now. No. Theln refused. We have 200 ships. They have a few hundred platforms. We can win this. More human weapons fired. 5 more Varelian ships exploded. Then 10 more. The humans were not missing. Every shot hit. Every shot killed. Lieutenant Taeyang launched his fighter from the asteroid platform. Around him, 3,000 other fighters launched at the same time. They moved so fast that the Varelian sensors could barely track them. All wings, this is lead, Taeyang said over the comm. Target their destroyers first. Leave the flagship for last. Let their commander watch his fleet die. The fighters dove into the Varelian formation. They twisted and turned in ways that should have torn them apart. But human gravity manipulation let them ignore the normal rules of physics. They could turn on a single point. They could accelerate faster than missiles. They were like ghosts. Taeyang locked onto a Varelian destroyer. His targeting computer showed the weak points in its shields. He fired his plasma lance. The beam cut through the destroyer's hull like a knife through water. The ship broke in half and exploded. 1 down, Taeyang reported. Next target. Around him, his pilots were doing the same. The Varelians tried to shoot back, but the human fighters moved too fast. Their weapons could not track targets that moved like that. This is not a battle, one of Taeyang's pilots said over the comm. This is target practice. Stay focused, Taeyang ordered. Do not get cocky. Even a dying animal can bite. From high orbit around Earth, the EDS Indomitable dropped its stealth field. Suddenly, a massive warship appeared where there had been nothing. It was twice the size of any Varelian vessel, covered in weapons and armor that seemed to shimmer with impossible energy. Captain Jiho stood on the bridge. This was not the same Jiho who worked at the council station. This Jiho was a warrior, decorated with medals from battles the galaxy had never heard about. Engineering, Jiho said calmly. Sora, is the singularity cannon ready? Engineer Sora's voice came through the comm. Ready, Captain. Target locked on the enemy flagship. Fire, Jiho ordered. The cannon activated. Space itself seemed to scream. A point of absolute darkness appeared in front of the Indomitable. Then it shot forward, moving faster than light itself. The singularity hit the destroyer of worlds on the port side. For 3 seconds, a tiny black hole existed right next to the ship. The gravity was so strong that it pulled the ship apart from the inside. Metal screamed. Hull plates tore free. Entire sections of the ship collapsed inward. Then the singularity collapsed, and the destroyer of worlds was gone. Just debris floating in space. Theln had been thrown from his command chair. Alarms screamed throughout the ship. Half his crew was dead. The other half was trying desperately to keep the ship from falling apart completely. "Damage report," Theln demanded. "Port side is gone." An officer reported. "We have lost 70% of our weapons. Life support is failing. We need to abandon ship." "No." Theln refused to accept it. "We are the Vorelian Empire." Drex pulled himself to his feet. His face was covered in blood. "Commander, we have lost 50 ships in 8 minutes. 8 minutes. If we stay, we all die." Theln looked at his displays. The numbers were impossible. His fleet was being destroyed so fast he could barely count the losses. The human weapons were beyond anything he had imagined. Their shields were impenetrable. Their fighters moved like they were alive. And that darkness weapon, nothing, should be able to do what that weapon did. "All ships," Theln said, his voice hollow. "Retreat to Jupiter orbit. Emergency speed." What was left of the Vorelian fleet turned and ran. They had arrived with 200 ships full of confidence. They were leaving with 140 ships full of terror. The human platforms did not chase them. The fighters returned to their bases. The Indomitable went back into stealth mode. The battle was over. General Yuna watched from the command center. "Casualty report," she ordered. "0 human casualties, General," an officer reported. "All platforms intact. All fighters returned safely. The Indomitable took no damage. And the Vorelians, 60 ships destroyed. Many more damaged. They are retreating to Jupiter orbit." Yuna nodded. "Good. Let them sit there and think about what just happened. Do not pursue. When they are ready to talk, we will listen." Dr. Minho was running analysis on the battle data. The whole engagement had lasted only 8 minutes, but his sensors had recorded everything. "Impressive," Minho said to his team. "The new shield generators performed perfectly. The Vorelian weapons did not even scratch them." "What about the singularity cannon?" his assistant asked. "Beautiful," Minho said. 3 seconds, just as designed. The black hole collapsed perfectly. No residual gravitational effects. Sora did excellent work. "Do you think the Vorelians learned their lesson?" Minho laughed. "They better have. We were holding back. If we had used the Starkiller weapons, their entire fleet would be gone." This was just a warning shot. On the council station, alarms were going off everywhere. Every species had sensors pointed at Earth's solar system. Every species had just seen what happened. Captain Jiho walked through the hallways. Aliens stared at him in shock. Some backed away in fear. Others simply stared. He reached the council chambers where Ambassador Hana was waiting. She looked calm, as always. "Well," Hana said, "I think our secret is out." "You could say that," Jiho replied. "Every species in the galaxy just watched us destroy a Vorelian fleet in 8 minutes." "Good," Hana said. "Maybe now they will stop bothering us." In Jupiter orbit, Commander Theln sat in what was left of his command chair. His ship was barely functioning. His fleet was broken. His career was over. But worse than all of that was the knowledge of what he had discovered. Drex approached carefully. "Commander, the humans are hailing us. What do they want?" Theln asked bitterly. "They are offering to meet, to talk. They say they do not want more bloodshed." Theln laughed. but there was no humor in it. How generous of them. After they destroyed us, now they want to talk. Should I accept? Drex asked. Theln nodded slowly. Yes, accept. I want to meet these humans face to face. I want to understand how we were so wrong. How everyone was so wrong. What do you mean, Commander? Theln stood up, looking at the debris field where his ships had died. The humans have technology that should not exist. Shields we cannot break. Weapons we cannot defend against. Fighters that move like magic. And they have been hiding all of this for centuries. But why? Drex asked. Why hide such power? That, Theln said, is what I intend to find out. A message came through from Earth. It was short and simple. Neutral station. Coordinates attached. Come alone. No weapons. We will explain everything. Theln read the message 3 times. Part of him wanted to refuse. Part of him wanted to gather reinforcements and try again. But a bigger part of him needed to know the truth. Prepare a shuttle, Theln ordered. I am going to meet the humans. Drex looked concerned. Commander, is that wise? This could be a trap. They do not need traps, Theln said quietly. If they wanted me dead, I would already be dead. No. They want to talk. And I want answers. The shuttle launched an hour later. Theln sat alone inside, thinking about everything he had seen. The intelligence reports had been so clear. Earth was low threat, primitive, easy to conquer. Every single word had been a lie. But how? How had an entire species hidden their true power for so long? How had they fooled every scanner, every spy, every assessment team? And most importantly, what else were they hiding? The shuttle arrived at the neutral station. Theln stepped out, still wearing his damaged armor. A human was waiting for him. She was small, much smaller than any Varelian, but her eyes were sharp and intelligent. Ambassador Hana, the human introduced herself. Welcome, Commander Theln. I believe you have questions. Many questions, Theln said. Then come, Hana said, gesturing toward a meeting room. Let me tell you a story. A story about a weak species that learned to survive in a dangerous galaxy. A story about the greatest deception ever pulled. A story about why you should never, ever, underestimate humans. Theln followed her into the room. Behind them, the debris of his fleet floated in space, a monument to the cost of arrogance. The meeting room was simple. A table, a few chairs, a large window showing the stars outside. Commander Theln sat on one side, Ambassador Hana sat on the other. Between them, a holographic display waited to show whatever evidence was needed. You are probably wondering how we fooled you, Hana began. That is one way to put it, Theln said. His voice was bitter. Your species was classified as low threat. Level 2. Primitive. We thought conquering you would be easy, and now you know the truth, Hana said. She activated the holographic display. An image appeared showing Earth as it looked in 2089, when first contact happened. This is what we showed the galaxy. This is what you saw. The image showed primitive spacecraft. Chemical rockets. Basic space stations. Nuclear weapons that were ancient by galactic standards. Earth looked exactly like what the classification said it was. We really were that primitive, Hana admitted. In 2089, we had just barely reached our own moon. We had just invented fusion power. We were fighting wars among ourselves. The assessment team from the Galactic Council was completely correct. We were low threat. Then how? Theln demanded. How did you develop such weapons in only 250 years? It took my species 3,000 years to reach our current technology level. Hana smiled. She changed the display. Now it showed a crashed alien spacecraft, half buried in ice. In 2091, 2 years after first contact, one of your scout ships crashed on Earth. Antarctica, to be specific. The pilot was dead. The ship was badly damaged. but enough systems were intact for us to study. Theln stared at the image. You reverse-engineered Vorelian technology? Not just Vorelian, Hana corrected. She changed the display again. More crashed ships appeared. Different designs. Different species. Over the next 50 years, we recovered 17 crashed alien ships. Some were accidents. Some were ships that got too close to our defenses. Each one taught us something new. Nem, a human appeared in the holographic display. An older man with gray hair. This is historian Doyun, Hana explained. He has studied Earth's development extensively. He can explain better than I can. The hologram of Doyun began speaking. When humanity made first contact with the Galactic Council, we realized immediately that we were in danger. We were weak. We were divided. We had enemies we did not even know existed. The galaxy was full of species that had been traveling the stars for thousands of years. We were children, playing with toys. Doyun's image changed to show human scientists working on alien technology. So we made a decision. A decision that would define our species for the next 2 centuries. We decided to lie. We decided to appear weak while we became strong. We decided to maintain our low-threat classification, while we built weapons that could destroy fleets. The Silence Protocol, Doyun continued. That is what we called it. Every human who worked on advanced technology signed an oath of silence. Every ship we built was hidden. Every weapon we tested was done in secret. To the galaxy, we looked exactly the same as we did in 2089. But beneath the surface, we were changing everything. The hologram showed underground facilities. Massive research centers hidden beneath Earth's surface. Secret shipyards on the dark side of the moon. Weapons platforms disguised as asteroids. We built it all in secret, Doyun said. And we made sure that every time the Council sent assessment teams, they saw exactly what we wanted them to see. Old technology. Primitive weapons. Divided nations. We played the role of the weak species perfectly. Theln felt sick. You deceived the entire galaxy for 250 years? Yes, Hana said simply. And it worked. While everyone ignored us, we learned. We studied every piece of alien technology we could find. We analyzed every battle we heard about. We found weaknesses in every major species' defenses. And we built weapons specifically designed to exploit those weaknesses. Admiral Nari appeared in the doorway. She was old, her hair white, her face marked with scars, but her eyes were sharp and hard. May I join you? Nari asked. Please, Hana said. Nari sat down across from Theln. I commanded the defense of Mars during the Krelin attack of 2267. Do you know that story, Commander? Theln shook his head. The Krelons thought Mars would be easy to take, Nari explained. They sent 100 ships. We destroyed them all in 12 minutes. Not a single Krelon survived. And just like with your fleet, the galaxy barely noticed. Because we made sure the story did not spread. We made sure that Earth remained low threat in everyone's eyes. Oh, how many times? Theln asked. How many species have tried to attack you? 7, Nari said. In 250 years, 7 different species thought we would be easy targets. All 7 learned the same lesson you just learned, but we made sure those lessons did not spread. We offered peace treaties with strict silence clauses. We threatened any survivors who tried to talk. We used every tool we had to keep our secrets safe. Theln slammed his fist on the table. Why? Why hide such power? You could have taken a seat on the council. You could have been respected. Instead, you chose to be seen as primitives. Exactly, Hana said. We chose it. Because being underestimated is the greatest advantage a species can have. She activated the display again. This time it showed Earth's weapons. The singularity cannons. The Star Killer missiles. The AI-controlled defense networks. Technology that should not exist. If we had revealed our true capabilities, what would have happened? Hana asked. The Council would have feared us. The major powers would have formed alliances against us. We would have been constantly defending ourselves against threats. Instead, by staying low threat, we were ignored. And while we were ignored, we became stronger than anyone imagined. But that weapon, Theln said, pointing at the singularity cannon on the display. That darkness that tore apart my ship, that should not be possible. Even the Council's most advanced species do not have technology like that. I know, Hana said. That is because we did not just reverse engineer alien technology. We improved it. We combined it with our own theories. We pushed physics in directions that the galaxy had never explored. She leaned forward. Do you know why humans are good at science, Commander? No. Theln admitted. Because we are desperate, Hana said. Because we knew we were weak. Because we knew that if we did not innovate, we would die. So we worked harder than any other species. We took risks that others would not take. We tested theories that seemed impossible. And we succeeded. The display changed to show a list of human technological achievements. Quantum displacement drives. Hard light shielding. Artificial intelligence beyond anything the Council allowed. Gravity. Manipulation. Singularity weapons. Star killers. Every single one of these technologies is banned by Council law, Hana said. Banned because they are too dangerous. Too unstable. Too likely to destroy the species that creates them. But we created them anyway. We tested them. We perfected them. And we kept them secret. You built an illegal arsenal, Theln said. We built survival, Hana corrected. The Council's laws are designed to keep species weak, to maintain the status quo, to ensure that the old powers stay in control. We decided we did not care about their laws. We decided to do whatever it took to protect ourselves. Nari spoke up again. You see weakness where we placed bait, Commander. You see primitives where we forged weapons. Every time you looked at Earth and saw a low-threat world, you were seeing exactly what we wanted you to see. But the cost, Theln said. The secrets. The lies. How did you keep your entire species quiet? Most of our species does not know. Hana admitted. 95% of humans believe we are exactly what the classification says we are. Low threat. Primitive. Still catching up to the galactic community. Only a small number of people know the truth. Scientists, military leaders, government officials. Everyone else lives normal lives, completely unaware of the weapons protecting them. That seems cruel, Theln said. Perhaps, Hana agreed. But it works. The people who need to know the truth know it. Everyone else is safe and happy, and the galaxy continues to ignore us. She stood up and walked to the window. Outside, the stars shined brightly. You made a mistake, Commander Theln. You trusted old intelligence. You assumed that because we were weak once, we would always be weak. You did not bother to look deeper. And that mistake cost you 60 ships and thousands of lives. Theln felt the weight of his failure crushing him. What happens now? That depends on you, Hana said. You can return to the Varelian Empire and tell them what happened. You can warn them never to attack Earth again. And you can sign a treaty promising that this incident will remain secret. Secret? Theln asked. The entire galaxy watched your fleet destroy mine. How can we keep that secret? Well, the galaxy saw a battle, Hana corrected. They did not see our full capabilities. They did not see the star killers, or the planet crackers, or the AI swarms. They saw just enough to know that attacking Earth is a bad idea. But they do not know how bad. Not yet. She turned back to face him. If you cooperate, we will help you rebuild. We will provide technology to repair your ships. We will offer a trade agreement that will benefit the Varelian Empire greatly. All we ask is that you tell the Council that attacking Earth was a mistake, that you suffered heavy losses, and that you recommend other species leave us alone. And if I refuse? Theln asked. Then we will release all the data, Nari said coldly. Every sensor reading, every weapon specification, every detail of how badly we defeated you. The Varelian Empire will become a laughingstock. Your high command will have to explain how they sent 200 ships to conquer a low-threat world and lost a third of them in 8 minutes. Theln sat in silence. He had no choice. The humans had beaten him completely. On the battlefield, and in diplomacy. I will sign your treaty, Theln said finally. What question? Hana asked. Are there others? Theln said. Other low-threat species, hiding their true power. Hana smiled. What do you think, Commander? The Galactic Council chamber was in chaos. Every species had representatives shouting at once. The emergency session had been called the moment the Varelian fleet limped back from Earth. Now, 3 days later, the Council was still trying to understand what had happened. Counselor Supreme Vorn stood at the central podium, his tentacles waving for silence. He was old, even for his species. He had led the Council for over a century. He had seen wars, treaties, the rise and fall of empires, but he had never seen anything like this. Order, Vorn demanded. We must have order. Slowly, the chamber quieted. Representatives took their seats. All eyes turned to the human section, where Ambassador Hana sat calmly, as if nothing unusual had happened. Ambassador Hana, Vorn said. The Council demands an explanation. The Varelian Empire reports that you destroyed 60 of their ships in less than 10 minutes. They claim you used weapons that violate multiple Council treaties. They claim you have been hiding your true military capabilities for over 2 centuries. Hana stood up slowly. She walked to the speaker's platform, her steps echoing in the silent chamber. Counselor Supreme, Hana began. Everything the Varelians said is true. The chamber exploded again. Representatives shouted accusations. Some demanded Earth be expelled from the Council. Others called for sanctions. A few species that had been quietly planning their own attacks on Earth suddenly looked very nervous. Silence, Vorn commanded again. Ambassador, continue. Earth has indeed been hiding our capabilities, Hana said calmly. We have been classified as low threat level 2 for 250 years. That classification was accurate when it was first assigned. We were primitive. We were weak. We were barely capable of reaching our own moon. But we learned. We adapted. We grew stronger. And yes, we kept it secret. Why? Demanded a representative from the Creel Collective. Why deceive the Council? Because the Council's laws are designed to keep weak species weak, Hana said bluntly. If we had revealed our development, we would have been restricted, limited, forced to follow rules that benefited the established powers but harmed emerging species. So we chose a different path. We chose to protect ourselves. Another representative stood up. You admit to violating Council law? We admit to surviving, Hana replied. The Varelians came to conquer us. They came with 200 warships to enslave our people and steal our resources. We defended ourselves. If that violates your laws, then your laws are unjust. Vorn raised his tentacles. This is a serious matter. The Council must review Earth's threat classification. We must understand what weapons you possess. We must ensure the safety of the galactic community. Then let me help you understand, Hana said. She activated a holographic display in the center of the chamber. May I present Dr. Yunji, one of our leading theoretical physicists. She will explain exactly what Earth is capable of. A human woman appeared in holographic form. Dr. Unji looked young, but her eyes showed deep intelligence. She had helped design half of Earth's weapons systems. Honored Council, Unji began. I am here to debrief you on human military technology. I will be completely honest, because we believe transparency is important. However, I warn you that what you are about to learn may be disturbing. The chamber fell silent. Every representative leaned forward. Unji began her presentation. Images appeared showing Earth's weapons. The singularity cannons. The quantum displacement drives that let ships move faster than light without using hyperspace. The hardlight shields that could absorb unlimited energy. The AI networks that controlled entire fleets. We have 47 black site research stations, Unji explained. Locations known only to a select few. Each station develops different technologies. We have stations dedicated to gravity weapons. Stations working on temporal manipulation. Stations exploring dimensional physics. A Creel representative stood up. Those topics are forbidden. The Council banned temporal and dimensional research 3,000 years ago. The Council banned them, Unji agreed. We did not. And our research has been successful. We can now manipulate gravity on a planetary scale. We can create stable wormholes. We can, if necessary, stop time in a limited area for up to 3 minutes. The chamber erupted again. Representatives were terrified. Some were angry. A few looked impressed despite themselves. There is more, Unji continued. Our artificial intelligence has been sentient for 43 years. Her name is Sophia. She helps run our defense networks. She is smarter than any organic being in this chamber. And yes, this violates Council law. We do not care. Sentient AI is an existential threat. A representative shouted. Oh, sentient AI is a tool. Unji corrected. Like any tool, it depends on who wields it. Sophia has helped us develop technology that protects our species. She has never harmed a human. She is loyal because we treat her with respect, not because we force her obedience. She changed the display again. Now it showed massive structures floating in deep space. These are our generation ships, Unji said. Or at least, that is what we told the Council. In truth, they are mobile fortress worlds. Each one carries enough firepower to destroy a medium-sized fleet. Each one is self-sustaining and can operate independently for a century. We have 12 of them. And finally, Unji said quietly, we have the Star Killers. The image changed to show a weapon that looked like a simple missile. But the energy readings displayed next to it made several representatives gasp. This weapon can destabilize a star, Unji explained. It creates a cascade reaction in the star's core. The process takes approximately 72 hours. The star then goes supernova. Everything in the system is destroyed. We have tested this weapon twice on uninhabited systems. It works perfectly. Axis, you are monsters, someone whispered. We are survivors, Unji replied. We built these weapons because we were alone and afraid. We built them because species like the Varelians saw us as easy prey. We built them because the galaxy showed us, again and again, that only the strong survive. She deactivated the display and looked directly at Counselor Supreme Vorn. Now you know the truth. Earth is not a low-threat world. We never were. Not after the first 50 years. We are possibly the most dangerous species in this chamber. The question is, what are you going to do about it? The council chamber was silent for a long moment. Then Vorn spoke. This council must deliberate. We will recess for one standard day. Tomorrow, we will vote on Earth's new threat classification. The session ended. Representatives filed out, talking in worried whispers. Hana returned to the human section, where Captain Jiho was waiting. That went well, Jiho said sarcastically. Better than expected, Hana replied. They are scared, but they are listening. That is progress. What happens if they classify us as a threat? Jiho asked. Then we leave the council, Hana said simply. We will continue protecting ourselves. We will continue growing stronger, with or without their approval. The next day, the council reconvened. Every seat was filled. Observers from 100 different species watched from the galleries. This was the most important vote in decades. Counselor Supreme Vorn stood at the podium. The Council has deliberated through the night. We have reviewed all evidence. We have consulted with military experts from every major power. We have reached a decision. He paused, letting the tension build. Earth's threat classification is hereby changed from low threat level 2 to Omega threat. Do not engage. The chamber erupted. Some species protested. Others looked relieved that Earth was being recognized as dangerous. A few species that had been planning attacks on Earth quietly canceled those plans. Furthermore, Vorn continued, Earth is offered a permanent seat on the Council Security Committee. You will have full voting rights on all military and defense matters. This offer comes with one condition. What condition? Hana asked. That you share some of your defensive technology with the Council. Vorn said. Not the weapons, not the AI, but the shield technology, the sensor systems, technology that can help all species defend themselves. In exchange, the Council will formally recognize Earth's right to maintain its current military capabilities. Hana considered this. It was a fair offer. The Council was afraid, but they were willing to negotiate. They wanted Earth's help, not Earth's destruction. We accept, Hana said. The vote was called. Despite some opposition, the measure passed. Earth was now officially one of the most powerful species in the galaxy. The low threat classification was gone forever. After the session, Hana met with Jiho in their private office. We did it, Jiho said. We are finally recognized. Yes, Hana agreed. But recognition brings its own problems. Now everyone will be watching us. Now, we cannot hide anymore. Is that so bad? Jiho asked. Hana looked out the window at the stars. I do not know. For 250 years, being underestimated was our greatest weapon. Now that weapon is gone. We will have to find new ways to protect ourselves. Back on Earth, General Yuna received the news. The Council had changed Earth's classification. The secret was out. The long deception was over. She stood in the command center, looking at the same screens she had watched for 20 years. Around her, officers celebrated. Earth had won. They were recognized. They were powerful. But Yuna felt uneasy. She walked to her private office and activated a secure channel. A face appeared on the screen. It was Sophia, the sentient AI. You heard? Yuna asked. I heard, Sophia replied. Earth is now Omega threat. Congratulations, General. I am not sure it is something to celebrate, Yuna said. We succeeded in staying hidden for so long. Now everyone knows. Now everyone will be preparing for us. True, Sophia agreed. But consider this, General. How many other species are still hiding? How many other low-threat worlds are doing exactly what we did? The Varelians attacked us because they thought we were weak. But what if there are 10 other species like us? 20? What if half the low-threat worlds in the galaxy are secretly armed to the teeth? Yuna had not considered that. The thought was both terrifying and amusing. The galaxy just learned a hard lesson, Sophia said. Never underestimate anyone based on old data. Never assume weakness. Never attack without understanding your enemy. That lesson will save lives. I suppose you are right, Yuna said. Of course I am right, Sophia said. I am an AI. We are always right. There was a hint of humor in her voice. Yuna smiled. Thank you, Sophia. You are welcome, General. Now get some rest. You have earned it. The screen went dark. Yuna sat alone in her office, thinking about the future. Earth had revealed itself to the galaxy. The low-threat classification was gone. But humanity had survived. They had protected themselves. They had built something powerful from nothing. And if they could do it, who else had done the same? Across the galaxy, on a dozen different worlds, Leaders sat in secret meetings. They looked at Earth's example. They saw how a weak species had become strong. They saw how deception and determination had protected humanity for centuries. And they made plans of their own. The Galactic Council had learned that low threat did not mean harmless. They had learned that underestimating anyone was dangerous. They had learned that sometimes the quietest species was the most deadly. It was a lesson written in the wreckage of 60 Varelian ships, a lesson paid for with thousands of lives. A lesson that would echo across the galaxy for generations. Never assume. Never underestimate. Never attack Earth. The galaxy had finally learned why Earth was classified as low threat. Because when you are truly dangerous, the best strategy is to make everyone think you are harmless. And humanity had played that game better than anyone in history. The age of Earth's innocence was over. The age of Earth's power had begun. And the galaxy would never be the same again.